Hey, welcome back to The Dive. Today on the show, we have John Timmons from Copper Road Resources. John's here today to share his take on President Biden's plan to invest in electric vehicles and what that means for the copper market, China's role in the copper market near term. He's also going to give us an update on Copper Road. He'll walk us through their latest drill programs, talk a bit about some of the challenges involved in high-quality copper exploration, and let us know what to look out for with the company over the near term. Hey, John, welcome to The Dive.
Hi, Cassandra. Thanks for the invitation.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us today. Okay, so John, President Biden's administration announced its plan to invest $2 billion from the Inflation Reduction Act to domestic manufacturing of electric vehicles and revive struggling plants. Do you think that this will have an effect on the copper market?
Well, I think, the U.S. is maybe a bit of a leader here as far as North America. A long-term effect in this market. Certainly when you read different studies, the U.S. projects as a $2 trillion upgrade to their network. Certainly copper being a part of that, transmission and generation of electricity, and certainly electrical vehicles too. Maybe in the Canadian context, Canada's a big country. Low population density, and we have a big system to put in here. So I think the Canadian government has to follow up too and secure copper supplies, as well as Japan, Germany, these countries, big multinational organizations that don't have domestic supply. So I think in the short term, the supply and demand sort of matched up pretty well with a lot of these projects coming online. But going forward, I see a big drain of copper supplies here in this EV shift.
Now, recent reports indicate that copper prices experienced an upward trend as a result of growing anticipation for economic stimulus in China. How important is China to the copper market over the near term?
Obviously the biggest consumer, both from the EV vehicle side, which I believe they're certainly the leaders in actual electrical vehicles on the road, and certainly their manufacturing base there, a growing populace, certainly construction and real estate, and just a general manufacturing. They're certainly a leading indicator, but I also think in a lot of respects they're becoming vertically integrated. That Timok mine that Zinjan has bought out of Serbia, they're certainly very active in Africa, they're certainly very active in South America, and I think they've really locked up their own supply going forward here.
Okay, so let's talk about Copper Road. For our viewers new to the story, could you give us the high-level overview of the company?
Certainly. We're exploring for near-surface copper, 80K north of Sault Ste. Marie, a 21,000 hectare district, with 2 past producing mines on the property. We'd like to get into this JR zone in the middle of the property, which hasn't had any work done since 1998. Near surface copper, some reasonable grades that haven't been tested at depth, and that is the focus for 2023. We have a reasonable share structure, some very strong shareholders at Rob Cudnion at Northfield Capital. Jason Livingston owns 4 million shares at a Castlewood Capital. Patrick Sheridan, 2 million shares. Our top 10 shareholders own approximately 30%. Our top 30 on approximately 60. So we're acting like owners, 47 million shares out. We like to keep this tight. We think a share structure, a good share structure and a quality project will get some investor attention here.
Now, John, the company was formerly Stone Gold. What led you to the name change?
Well, we really felt this Copper Road project north of Sault Ste. Marie had all the hallmarks to deliver several deposits across that district, and it was a rebranding more than anything.
Now, you announced your proposed 2023 drill program at the JR Zone at your Copper Road project in Batchewana Bay, Ontario. Could you walk us through the program?
Certainly. It's limited budget here, but this near-surface copper, which hasn't been drilled since 1964, and it returns some pretty favorable intersections, 140 meters, about 0.55 equivalent. They were never tested at depth. It wasn't tested for silver, rhenium, or gold, which we know was next door at the Richards Breccia, approximately a kilometer away. So we'd like to test these things at depth, push some 400-meter holes into this thing, and do a test for this, byproduct minerals, and we think we'll deliver some favorable intersections of a near-surface copper in Ontario.
How has the recent work conducted or historical work influenced your current mining plans or strategies?
Significant. There was, a lot of attention. That property was always a fragmented district. A recent consolidation here to pull all these things together. The 2 past producer, the majority of the targets in there. A lot of historical drilling in the Tribag, which led us to, there's several historical estimates there from Teck, approximately 40 million tons of the Tribag zone at 125 million tons at the East Breccia, And these are the 300 meters. We know these targets go to depth. We're certainly not considering these estimates as current. They're not 43-101. They need a lot of work to bring them up to date. But having all that historical data, know we're going to be drilling into mineralization is certainly encouraging. The JR zone has had less work. The Richards breccia hasn't been drilled since 1998, and the Jogging Porphyry since 1964. And we know they're mineralized. We stepped back last year and did a lot of MMI lines across this thing to prove some continuity in between. So it's approximately about 1.5 kilometers by 850 meters, making that what you could say a world-class target. Near surface, untested at depth, we're pretty excited here.
What sort of realistic results are you expecting from this program?
Well, there's 147 meters there of 0.55 equivalent without the silver, rhenium, and gold. We think there's potential to push it to 0.65 or 0.7 and pull a 300-400 meter intersection out of there. And everybody's comparing these explorers to Filo in Argentina, and I don't think we're delivering 1,000 meters of 1%. That being said, there's a lot of things we're not getting paid for. A very favorable First Nations relationship, near surface copper, tier 1 jurisdiction, and we think coming out of this program with these lengthier intersections and some higher grade breccia out of the Richards area, a kilometer away, and we've established a second large zone, and we think we can call anybody on that.
What are some of the challenges involved in finding a high quality copper exploration program?
Well, I think jurisdiction is really important now. The sort of top 50 projects coming online, Goldman Sachs has put 25 of those into unconventional jurisdictions. I'm certainly not making a political comment on Pakistan, the DRC, Russia, China, etc. But certainly there's focus for domestic metals, and there's rare earth supply, the copper supply coming with domestic supply. I think Canada's in very good shape, and we're blessed to have these resources, for our availability and the world's consumption also.
Okay, so last question here for you, John. What are the key metrics that investors should look out for over the near term with Copper Road?
Well, I think the only thing that's going to move the needle right now, Cassandra, is drilling. It's the assay labs are certainly not backed up now. We close this financing up. We believe we can be drilling early August, have results for early September, and market in the back of those and look to put a bigger chunk of cash in the bank and really tear into this district.
Okay, John, that is all we have for you today. We'll definitely have to get you back on in September when you have those assay results. And thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure.
Much appreciated. Thanks, Cassandra. Enjoy your day.
You too. Thanks for tuning into our video today. If you enjoy videos like this, consider hitting that subscribe button below me there before you leave. Bye.